And we are live.
All
Hey,
right.
what's up, everyone, and welcome once again to the Agents of Helm weekly GOT review show. I'm Agent Malik, and tonight, along with the Princess of Doom, Gloom, Pride and Prejudice, and Action Joe, we're going to recap and reflect on the most recent episode of HBO's Game of Thrones, Kill the Boy. So it's just my opinion, but this has been the do something else season of Game of Thrones thus far. With the exception of a scene or two in each episode, I find myself putting the episode on in the background while doing other things and completely able to follow everything that's going on. With Tyrion in the dumps, the show has lost a lot of its wit and its charm to me, and has been deferring instead to people preparing for a war that hasn't yet come, and they're not really doing anything yet, but they're walking towards it, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So do me a favor, Joe. Tell me exactly what the fuck is going on, and why do I need to pay attention?
Malik, the reason why you need to pay attention is because just like Jon Snow said, the White Walkers are coming.
Haven't they been coming for 2 seasons?
It was more like 3 seasons, but it doesn't matter. I think in season 17, the White Walkers are going to get up to that wall, and they're going to be ready to go. Season 17. I can't wait. In all seriousness, I have to tell you, when I heard him say that, I started laughing. I really started laughing because you know how big of a bone of contention this has been for me, uh,
Yeah.
waiting for these White Walkers, and they finally actually mention it that they're coming. They seem to mention it like once a year. So last season, remember last season they mentioned it. Stannis got like a note. I'm just remembering this now. Stannis got a note. He's like, "We have to do something. We got to start moving north because you know the Walkers are coming."
Right.
Here we are, like a year later. At least in TV land, we're a year later, and here we hear it again. The White Walkers are coming. Winter is coming. And this is like the longest winter coming that I've ever seen. Clearly they never lived in New York or Massachusetts or the Northeast in general because we have plenty of winter.
Yeah.
Um,
We do the opposite. We say summer is coming.
yeah, summer's coming. I mean, I could not help but laugh because who knows when the hell these White Walkers are going to get to the wall. But anyway, to this episode, um, at that point, Jon Snow he's trying to when he says the Walkers are coming, he's talking to was it Tormund Giantsbane, I believe his name is
Oh
the,
yeah.
the big guy, the wildling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's talking to him, trying to convince him to like, hey, we gotta get together. These Walkers are coming, and you can't fight them alone, and we can't fight them alone. We need to get this thing together and become allies, form an allegiance of some kind, and they're willing. He seems like they're willing to do it, but he says John has to come with him to go talk to the other wildlings to show some proof that yes, this is for real. The war with the crows is going to end, and they're going to become allies. So what does Jon Snow get Stannis to do? He's like, hey, I'll even do more. I'm going to get Stannis' fleet, and we're going to go over there, and we're going to get your guys on boats, and we're going to come over here, and you guys are going to help us defend the wall. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see when that actually happens. I mean, we're already halfway through season 5, so and we have yet to look at. I remember some point last season we did see like the White Walker King. I mean, he was never named, but I'm assuming it's the White Walker King, right?
The guy who
He
was
had the
on
crowns.
the
He had
yes,
like
and
a
Yeah.
they
crown
turned
on
the
his head.
baby.
Yeah, and he turned the
Yeah.
baby into a White Walker.
Hmm.
Guess he's building his baby White Walker army. I don't know, but yeah. So I mean, we haven't seen that guy all season yet. Um, yeah, but I am eagerly awaiting when the White Walkers get to the wall. Now, what's his name? Sam talked about killing the White Walker with the dragon glass.
Right.
That seems like so long ago.
Mhm.
But
It does, and it's interesting. It's like when the guy says, "Well, how did you do it?" He's like, "I don't know." Like he still has no clue what the hell he did and how he did it, and that's why he's been reading all of these books.
I can't even remember where the dragon glass came from. There was like tons of it,
Yeah, it was
and
all over the place. Yeah.
so clearly the dragons are going to be the key to killing the White Walkers. Um,
Well, what better way to kill a Iceman than with
The
breath
there
of
was some
fire?
fire.
fire,
Yeah.
but clearly they're gonna have to use the flame to make some glass. I have no idea. I'm sure they'll come up with something. But yeah, I was like, come on, hurry, let's get to Daenerys. I wanted to Let's get to Daenerys. There was no Daenerys last week, and I really wanted some this week, and I think we got some. So what do you think about that, Johanna?
Um, I've found the stuff in Marine to probably be the most compelling stuff in the whole episode. Basically, we see, I think, two threads here. One is Daenerys growing ovaries at last. She's kind of not dumping her advisors, but like Barristan's dead, and he is kind of not there to hold her back from what she thinks is right, which is kind of the pep talk that Missandei gives her. Missandei, who has way more lines in those two scenes she's in than she has, I think, the entire series. So Daenerys does two things. One, she takes the head of each of the 4 families of Meereen, and she lines them up basically in the dragon vault and pushes one towards one of the dragons. And I know Joe was like, yes, when it happened. The dragon roasts him alive. And then him and his brother take turns splitting the body in half and eating it. Needless to say, the surviving heads of the families are very, terrified.
Shitting in their pants.
Shit in their pants. Now, the ambassador guy, whose name is, and who I'm just going to call Jason, says that he is not afraid to die. And
where does Jason come from? That's what I want to know.
Because his name is so it sounds like the first name.
It sounds like a transformer transforming.
His name is Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime. But you can call him Jason. So Jason, it starts with a J. Jason is locked up and he's kind of on his knees and he's like, please don't kill me. And she's like, I thought you said you weren't scared. And he's like, I was a little scared. And she tells him after she meets with Missandei, who's like, hey, you need to do what you need to do and what you think is right. She's like, I've decided to open the pit and I'm gonna marry you.
Lucky man. Lucky guy.
Lucky Jason, man.
Lucky Jason.
Lucky Jason.
So the speech or the talk that Missandei had with Daenerys is very very similar to what's the Targaryen guy's name from the Night's Watch?
Aemon.
Yeah. Aemon?
Okay.
It's Aemon.
Mr. Aemon?
Yeah.
Mr. Aemon, when he talks to Jon Snow.
Yeah, when he talks to Jon Snow.
Yeah.
It's very similar. I mean, in both cases, he told Jon Snow, it's the title of the episode, right? Kill the boy. And, become a man. You got to start making some manly decisions. And it's kind of the same thing that Missandei did to Daenerys. She's like, hey, you had Sir Barristan here advising you. You had Mormont there advising you. And now it's time for you to just do it yourself, basically.
Well, I think she also mentions in her statement when she's talking to Daenerys that, she's like, I've seen you, take their advice over your own, and I've also seen you, go do your own thing and say what, the hell with their advice and go your own route. So, I've seen you go both of those ways, and so now that they're no longer here to advise you, you're reaching out to a slave girl, you know what I mean, to give you information, and you need to trust your instincts and trust what you know, because you can do this, and you're perfectly capable of managing this, and you're perfectly capable of doing this. I think with Maester, it's a little different because, see, Daenerys has been a queen for a pretty long time. I mean, given the situation, she's the Dothraki queen, and then she's been pretty much a queen the entire show, right? Mm-hmm. And growing into the role. But at this point where she is in Meereen, and there was something that she mentions where she's like, what we're doing here, or she says something to someone about what we're doing here, and actually that posed the question to me, like, what the hell are they doing in Marine? Like, are they still trying to go to the north and fight, or what? Like, I'm not sure. But as far as Jon Snow is concerned, I think when Maester was talking to him, it's very much like to what you said, kill the boy, become a man, because Jon Snow has been, Lord of the Night's Watch for what? 20 minutes. Like this is his first big decision that he's making too.
That's like 20 years at Castle Black.
No, it's 20 years anywhere at this point. It's basically like when you're in the trenches during a war and like your lieutenant dies, you become the lieutenant because there's nobody left.
Right. I mean, and he's voted in. Like he has made it to this point. And Maester is basically like, hey, like when Jon Snow says, half the guys are gonna hate me. He's like, half of them hate you anyway. They already hate you. So just make the decision that you're gonna make and stop trying to appease everybody. I think it was a little different with Daenerys because she's not trying to appease everyone. She just solely believes in no slavery, and none of that stuff can go down in her watch. No one's allowed to be a slave, and so she just completely did not believe in opening up the pits, and she didn't believe in the reasoning for opening them up.
And she's still not allowing slaves. No slaves, only free men.
Right, it's got to be free men. Right, exactly. But then wouldn't that mean everybody? Because technically
they're all supposed to be free, right?
Yeah, she freed all the slaves, so it's all free men anyway. It should be, if I'm not mistaken. So it's just it was an interesting dynamic. You made that connection with the two statements. But I really probably my favorite part of the episode is really the end when Tyrion and Jorah Mormont, is that his name? Jorah?
Yeah.
Jorah, whatever.
Jorah
Mormont are on the boat and they're going to. I guess he's taking him to Marine, but he's taking him through Valeria. And they're looking at the burned out ruins of Valeria, and they're talking about, they're like regaling in the story of Valeria and, what happened there and everything like that. And they're finally having, like, I guess what would equate to a moment. And then all of a sudden, they see Tyrion sees the dragon flying overhead. And I believe that's the dragon that she mentions. That's the dragon that Daenerys is talking to, or is like trying to touch in the very beginning, like earlier on, like a couple episodes ago, that flies off, and she's like, they haven't seen. So apparently he's flying around, and then they attract to the we get to the stone men, who we need more stone men. That was awesome. I love stone men. They're great.
I just wish we had that moment in the poster where the dragon comes up to the boat, and it was kind of disappointing for me. I wanted to see the dragon come to the boat as opposed to like just fly overhead.
Well, what's he gonna do on the boat? Like he's just gonna kill everybody.
Scare the shit out of Tyrion. Maybe he could eat it. Treat him like what you call it. What do you call those finger franks? What do you call those things?
Vienna sausages?
No, not Vienna sausage. The pigs in a blanket. This could treat them like a pig in a blanket.
Although when you mentioned the dragon coming up in the water, it makes me think of a whale watch. Like the dragon is just kind of swimming with the boat.
Swimming around, yeah.
Yeah. You take pictures. Like they charge you like $20 to get on, and let the dragon.
Watch, the dragon's gonna come jumping out of the water. It's gonna grab this little fish.
And then it smokes the fish. Hey, who wants a smoked mackerel?
Now, when the stonemen jump on the boat, right? I don't recall. Well, before that all happens, I was gonna say I don't recall any of them touching Jorah Mormont. But when they jumped into the water after Tyrion falls in the water. He gets knocked over. Then the stone guy jumps in after him, grabs his foot, and is dragging him down. And then all of a sudden they wake up on the shore, right?
Well, yeah, somewhere in the middle of, which, by the way, I don't understand, because clearly, like, stone men are just lepers. I don't understand how they can hold their breath that long to the point where they want to drag someone down further into water. But anyway, I guess somewhere between those, Jorah must have, like, fought them, and they must have touched him, but he was somehow able... You're right, it is kind of a mess, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, all of a sudden, they're on shore, so they lost the boat, somehow. He gets touched by one of the stone men.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a gap in there somewhere. I don't think it's a huge deal. I mean, you just assume, you can make a ton of assumptions that it was a huge battle, the boat gets broken up, and they end up on shore. Or Mormont loses the boat trying to rescue Tyrion, right? And the boat just gets away from him, and they end up on shore. But it didn't look like there was any shore close by. I don't know.
No, well, I mean, they weren't really, like, in an ocean. They were kind of, like, in a big creek. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Like, they're just kind of floating along. It looked like the fucking Secret Garden or something. It reminded... Actually, that whole thing reminded me of Lord of the Rings. Just
Yeah, it
like,
did have a very Lord of the Rings
all
feel
of
to
these
it.
idyllic landscapes, and then these, like, crazy dudes.
Yeah,
come
but they
out.
end up on like a beach, right? It looked like it was like kind of like a beach, right?
Yeah, I
they,
don't-
they
yeah.
washed ashore or something like that. But,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's definitely reasonable, I guess, that obviously he had to jump off the boat to get to Tyrion, who was under the water. So probably either in the midst of the fighting on the boat or fighting when he was trying to get Tyrion away from the stone man that was trying to drag him down. That at some point in time in there, he gets touched by the guy, and I guess they lose the boat because of that. I mean, I don't know what the stone men's real, what their motive was, what their purpose was, other than to just attack these
In
guys.
fact, Jorah.
So
Yeah.
do they when you have that what's the disease called again?
Grayscale.
Grayscale, yeah.
Grayscale. Do you lose your mind? Or
I don't think so, because then the little girl would
yeah,
have...
but she also had a Melisandre cured her, right? So
Yeah, that's
there could
it.
have been something else
Yeah.
going on there.
Well, what it is I mean, they say you're a leper, so I guess essentially nobody really knows what happens to you, because when you get it, they send you away to die. Like, they assume that you're just going to die. You're going to die a horrible, young death, and you're just never going to be able to be around people and so on and so forth. But, so I guess nobody really knows what they do. So my guess is that all of them just go to Valeria, or they go to places like that where there is no population, nobody lives there, and they can just kind of exist and, attack, oncomers or something. I don't know.
Okay, and Valeria is the Targaryens' old home, right?
Ancestral
home. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why What's Her Toes speaks High Valyrian. Daenerys.
Yeah, why would they leave that place? It looked pretty cool. It looked like it would have been a really nice place to live back then.
Oh, it was burned to the ground, wasn't it?
Didn't the dragons burn it to the ground? Like, after they, like, kept these dragons, the dragons were like, let's burn this motherfucker down.
Oh.
I think so. I don't remember that part.
I do remember him saying something about the dragons burning something down to the ground, so I guess that was it. But it looked like it was a pretty swinging town back in its heyday. But now to be no more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm really ready for Reek to have his comeuppance. I mean, I as much as I hated Theon Greyjoy during his run early on the show, I kind of feel like he's gone through enough. Like, it's time to give the man back some of his dignity. I mean, it's really starting to weigh on me whenever I see him on a screen, because I feel bad for the guy now.
He's so fucked up.
I'd rather see him killed, actually. I didn't like his character when he was Theon. I don't like his character now. I wouldn't mind if someone put an arrow through his heart. It wouldn't bother me one bit.
So you have no sympathy for what he's going through now?
No. Well, I mean, no Yeah, I don't wish that on any guy. Getting his thing cut off. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't wish that on him. But I mean, he was a jerk before that. Um, he turned on his brothers.
Well, he
You
wasn't
know,
related to them.
I know he wasn't related to them, but he turned on them.
Although, to be
Uh,
fair, he was being kept in Winterfell as ransom so that his father wouldn't fuck shit up. It just so happened that he was treated nicely and like a part of the family, but he was still
yeah,
there under duress.
yeah, but still, I mean, that those guys were like his brothers. I mean,
Look, it's the way I think about this is like George Zimmerman, right?
who
He
just got shot today?
he keeps getting arrested, and you know what? I'm like, I don't give a shit. Because you're just getting arrested. I mean, you killed this poor kid, and you just keep fucking up and being shot in the face. Whereas, like, Reek, I mean, yeah, he did kill some people, but I mean, like, getting his balls chopped off and getting this crazy, like, I mean, it's even beyond Stockholm Syndrome now. You do start to feel kind of sorry for him.
Yeah, for sorry for him.
I mean, he's been relegated to an animal, to basically to a dog. He sleeps in the dog's quarters with all the other animals. Like he has no sense of humanity whatsoever. And the very moment that he even considers that you even consider that he may be understanding exactly what's going on around him, or he may have some sense of Theon, like whatever that Bolton kid talks to him, and then all of a sudden it's yes master, and he's doing a whole bunch of stuff to appease his master. It's really really disturbing.
What I don't get is he's controlling Theon or Reek now. He's complaining how bad he smells. Why do you want what? This is a person that's pouring your wine, serving your food. Why do you want that guy sleeping with the dogs, smelling like shit, handling your food and drink? It makes no sense to me.
Because he probably likes it that way. He probably, like, gets off on, like, nasty smells. Like, he seems like that kind of guy.
Because he's
You
like,
know?
he's basically said, you smell like shit. He
Yeah.
was like, oh, you reek, whatever.
Well,
And
also, I think the payoff of, like, having completely humiliated Reek is, like, worth, like, stinky stuff. Like, imagine, like, the people he kills and he flays and stuff. That is all stinky stuff. I'm sure by now his, like, olfactory whatever is totally like, whatever. I could be eating a hot dog or I could be cutting someone's balls off. It's all good. It smells the same.
yeah. But the fact that he's gonna have him walk Sansa down the aisle, when we got to that part in the episode when he's like, you know what, Sansa, it's time for you to forgive him for killing your brothers, Bran and what's the younger one's name?
Rickon.
Rickon. For killing Bran and Rickon, which he didn't really kill anyway.
Right.
But he was faking it. But forgive him, and you know what? Let bygones be bygones, and you know what? Since you have no other family here, he's gonna walk you down the aisle.
Oh.
Like, come on. That guy's just got to be an idiot. Even his own father told him that was pretty stupid. And his father raped his mother and took him, So that's not Father of the Year material, and he even told him he was stupid.
They really are, like, the most disgusting people in the show. And considering that, like, the show is full of disgusting people, like, that is, I mean, like, you almost have to just applaud and say, you know what? Here's an award. Here's your award. Because you have just outdone everybody on Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I think they're dead by the end of the season. At least I hope so.
Well, I mean, I guess it's all dependent upon whether or not Jon Snow is able to recruit the wildlings to join his army, because Stannis can't do it with his group. He's not.
Yeah, but Stannis already took off. He's already on his way to Winterfell.
Well, yeah, but he's gonna march. I mean, well, yeah, I guess Stannis doesn't care about he wants his ships back, right? So obviously he's planning on somebody coming back to.
Winterfell didn't look like it was near any water. Yeah, maybe it's me. I don't pay attention too closely to that map in the opening credits. Um,
Yeah, it just keeps
uh,
getting bigger and bigger
yeah,
as it goes on.
I don't,
It's
I'm not
Monopoly.
paying attention to the exact geographically where Winterfell is located. I know it's the closest town to Castle Black and the Wall, right?
Right,
So it's not too far.
right. It's the
But
furthest north.
yeah, but yeah, I'm. I don't remember seeing any water around there. I don't know where these boats are gonna pull up to, or they're gonna dock somewhere, and the Wildlings and Jon Snow are gonna have quite a bit of a trek to get to Winterfell. Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking they'll probably get there just in time to save Stannis' ass. Uh, I don't think this is a battle they're gonna lose. I think the Boltons are due for retirement.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I think that's my best guess is that that's what he's going to do. He's going to bring the men to Winterfell to help Stannis fight and and destroy the Boltons and allow the women and children, the wildling women and children, to set up a community um, somewhere beyond the wall, somewhere south of the wall, so that they can begin to build something for themselves and stuff like that. I mean, it's interesting because you don't know how many wildlings there really are, right? There's no real there's no real barometer for how many people are wildlings, right? So when I was thinking about this, if for whatever reason Jon Snow becomes like the wildling king, or he becomes the person that the wildlings eventually flock to, including him and including all the people that have become part of the Night's Watch. I mean, he can have a pretty sizable uh, army on his side, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think yeah, I think I've mentioned this before. I think there's only like two really untouchable characters in Game of Thrones. I think Jon Snow is one of them.
Hmm.
Uh, I think Jon Snow's there to the end. Whenever this thing ends, season 20, uh,
When the
whatever.
White Walkers get there, Jon
Yeah,
Snow will be there with Dragonglass.
Kit Harington may never do a movie or appear in another TV show in his life, but he'll have Game of Thrones. And yeah, you know, I think he's untouchable. I think he's there for the long haul, and I think this whole show is probably about him and Daenerys one way or another. Uh,
And I mean, there's a theory. I think you guys know the RNJ theory, or the L plus R equals J, which is that Lyanna Stark is actually Jon Stark's mother, and that he's the child of her and Huzama Face Targaryen. I'll just call him Ryan for now, because I can't think of his name. Ryan Targaryen, and that he might be. And so therefore he's a Targaryen, and then some people take that theory further and say that he will eventually marry his aunt Daenerys, because that's what the Targaryens do.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
That
so
would make
that
some sense to it.
they will win the Game of Thrones, basically.
yeah, I think yeah, I think it ends up with Jon Snow and Daenerys. One way, I don't know if they get married or whatever. I just think those two make it out of this whole thing. Whenever it ends, season 22, whatever it is, when we finally get there.
Yeah, I mean, another interesting thing. I know this is a really, really quick one, but since the very first episode of the show, when Baratheon comes to Winterfell to take his best friend Ned Stark to King's Landing, I don't remember an episode of Game of Thrones where there was no King's Landing. Nothing was going on in King's Landing. This seems like this is the first episode that I can remember in a long time where there is no mention of King's Landing and there is no shot of Cersei or Tommen or anybody that's out there in King's Landing. It's completely about everybody else around it, which probably means that next week's episode will be all King's Landing and very little of anything else, because
They needed a break, Marjorie had to go make Mockingjay Part 2. So
she had to go shave her hair. She's got to go grow it all back now.
exactly.
I didn't even know she's gonna be in Mockingjay Part 2.
She was in
She was in
Mockingjay
Part
Part 1.
Yeah, I don't remember her in Mockingjay Part
She
1.
was Cressida, the girl with like one part of her head was shaved and she had like the ivy tattoo. And
Oh,
she
that
was
was her?
blonde.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. She's the best part of that movie. I mean, um, but yeah, I mean, so far, I mean, like as far as this episode goes, I mean, again, to me, it's felt like a lot of the same. I guess building towards, maybe a final 2 or 3 episodes where a lot of stuff happens and there's war and there's some kind of resolution to whatever situations are going on. But still, I mean, we're what, 6 episodes into the season?
Five
Five,
five
5 episodes
episodes.
into the
Five
season. I
episodes
mean,
in, and Tyrion still hasn't got to Daenerys.
yeah, like a lot
Jaime
of
still hasn't rescued his daughter.
right.
Um, and, I mean, yeah, what happened to the Viper chicks, man? I was really looking forward to seeing some more Viper chicks.
I
And
was. Were we talking about it? Or maybe I was talking to my husband about it. I think it was. I was talking to him. I'm like, he's like sand snakes. I'm like, they're not gonna show up. I know it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
yeah,
knew.
that's the sad thing about it, right?
Yeah. Like I just knew. I'm like, they're gonna. I don't know if they're saving them for something else, but they wanted to like whet our palates, and then they're like, oops, yeah, we'll wait until like 5 episodes from now, season finale. Sand snakes
yeah,
finally kill Marcella.
yeah, I want all my episodes to consist of Daenerys and Viper chicks. That's all I want, and I'll be happy. I'll be a happy Game of Thrones fan. But one thing we didn't mention, Malik, is the love story.
Oh.
Oh gosh.
Sunday. Let's get it on. Yeah.
If that was not the most intentionally placed love story crap I've ever seen, like it was. I guess it was supposed to be heartfelt or heartwarming or something along those lines, and to me, it was bad. It was bad Lifetime movie drama crap. I was just like, man, this is not what I came. This is not what I'm watching for. Let's move away from this pretty quickly, please.
I'm a sucker, so obviously I cried. I love Grey Worm because Grey Worm, I don't know about Grey Worm has always kind of been like, oh, you fight so hard, but there's something just so soft about you. And so the fact that him and Missandei were finally like, yes, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, I hear you grumbling, Malik.
Well, there's something soft about him because he's like 14. Okay.
Oh, God, don't say
There's
that.
something soft about him because he got stabbed like 10 times.
He looks like a 12-year-old kid. Like he
He's
looks,
obviously not a 12-year-old.
okay.
Because I mean, I think actually in the book he was probably 12, and Missandei was also like 12, and there was no love story. But I just thought it was sweet. It's hard to describe.
Come on,
Yes,
yeah,
their love story has always been contrived to me, I admit. But my heart had been pulled out of my body by the fact that Grey Worm almost died last week. That when he finally woke up and he's like, "I can't live without you," I'm like, "Oh man."
I think their first date should be to the pits. I think it would be a lovely evening. I think the two of them could sit. They have like the front row table. I'm sure they got the hookup. They could talk to Daenerys and be like, "Hey, can we get like somewhere in the front row, nice little table, some candlelight, you know, one of those turkey legs, you know."
Covered in bacon. Do they even have
Turkey
bacon?
legs.
They must have bacon.
And the turkey legs could be cooked up by the dragon, right there.
With a
Oh,
little
it'd
chef
be
hat on.
a beautiful evening for Grey Worm and Missandei.
Yeah, I mean, I think that their relationship, it's missing like an 80s montage theme song. Like it's her teaching him how to speak proper, and then you probably have some shots of him showing her how to use a sword, and then you'll have some shots of them walking in a park together and them looking at each other longingly. Like there's that scene at the end of last season where I guess she's bathing herself and he's already in the pool and he's like looking at her and she's looking at him, and
Oh man, it's just like that scene from Cocktail.
yeah, if he could only get a Woody, if he could only actually get a Woody, it would, maybe he would have one at that time. I don't know, but it's like it feels like such a contrived love story that's like You know, it just makes no sense in the grand scheme of things.
No, this is
It's
just
not
like
important, really.
It
this is
really
just
isn't.
like Cocktail.
It really isn't.
She works for Daenerys. She's part of the queen, so she comes from money, and he's got nothing. He's just a soldier, and then they meet in this sandy oasis. You know,
Yeah,
and they fall in love in the water because that's what
You
they
know
first
what, you
meet.
guys? That will be the big conclusion of the fucking season. Will be them fucking getting married, and that will be it. And there will be no sand snakes, and the White Walkers still won't have gotten there. But hey, they got married, so it's all good.
the
Yeah,
crazy thing is they could get married tomorrow. It's not even like it's a forbidden relationship, right? Like nobody gives
No.
a shit about whether or not they get together.
nobody
It's not like-
cares. Nobody.
Daenerys will be like, okay.
She's not betrothed to anybody. He's not betrothed to anybody. Like he doesn't even have a penis. I don't think anybody gives a shit. They know what he wants him. Like these are the two most inconsequential people having this relationship.
I mean,
We're supposed to care why, but Johanna cares. So that's
I care. I don't know why. I
But
think
then-
it's really pointless.
You know, if he falls in love, that only means one thing, Johanna.
he's gonna die.
Exactly.
No. You can take
One
Cassandra,
of them
don't
one
take
of them
him.
is going to die. It may not be great. It could be Missandei. You know, you never know. One of them's gonna die.
Well, if
I would-
Asandi dies, it's because she's getting other movies. She's got
Yeah.
other parts going on.
Well, like I prefer their story to like Dario Naharis, who doesn't fucking do anything. Like this whole he was in this episode, but all he did was stand around looking smug. And I'm just like, we don't need that shit. We already killed Joffrey. We don't need someone else
Yeah.
standing around looking smug.
Yeah, it's true.
Smug jerk. Yeah.
Smug asshole.
Well, look, I hope that we get it. I hope that we're on our way somewhere, and the boat gets the people get to where they need to go, so that we can start fighting. Because when Game of Thrones is probably at its best, when there's some fighting going on, when there's some conflict going on. So I hope we get there soon. But I mean, does anybody else have any final thoughts before we close out?
No, I think we're it's a done deal, Malik.
It's a wrap.
White
right.
Walker's coming. Tune in season 12.
I personally am signing up for the Dragon Watch. I want to see some dragons coming out of the water, smoking some mackerel.
It's season 13.
Season 13.
Season 13.
I'm waiting for the dragons to figure out that they are the strongest in the entire time. In the entire land this time. They want to be king. Like screw this, okay?
The Game of Thrones. You either live or you become
We're gonna melt your Iron Throne.
That's right.
So that's all tonight. Everybody enjoy your evening. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Tune in later this week. We'll be releasing another episode where I'll be giving a review of Mad Max Fury Road. I did get a chance to see it, so I'll be releasing a review prior to the movie release. And we also have some podcasts coming, some stuff in the vault that we're putting together. So yeah, keep on the lookout. We're definitely pumping out material. And of course, you can find us on all the social networks. You can visit our website, agentsofhelm.com, or send us an email at agentsofhelm@gmail.com, and we'll be definitely glad to respond and tell you what we think about whatever you ask us about. So for Johanna and Joe, I am Malik. We are the Agents of Helm. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon. Peace out.
The White Walkers are coming, duck.
5 years from now.
All right, cool. All right, so let's just roll into. You ready to talk about Mad Max?
Yeah. Before we start, Joe, do you see the score of the Golden State game?
Yeah, they're killing them.
Yeah. Told you.
18 points now.
Told you. I was not worried about
We still got one more quarter to go, Malik.
this. Yeah. Okay.
Still got one more quarter to go.
It's done. It's done. It's not happening.
One more quarter to go.
All right.
They don't fuck this up. Sorry.
What'd you say?
There's this series. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Like, there's this new Fox series that's going to premiere soon called Lucifer.
No, I haven't seen that.
It's based off of. Oh, I already
Devil?
tell it's gonna suck. The character of the devil in like this Neil Gaiman comic book, and he's actually a pretty cool character. He like basically abandons hell, to like just kind of become like a lounge singer is mostly what he does.
The comedy?
It's not a comedy, actually.
Oh god, that sounds funny.
Sounds like a comedy.
Totally read it, Malik. It's called Season of Mists. And yes, Lucifer abandons, like, he leaves hell, and he just kind of, he's a lounge singer, basically. But I see here, I'm reading the description, and they've totally changed it and fucked it up. Apparently, he lives in Los Angeles, where he gets his kicks helping the LAPD punish criminals. What the fuck?
Yeah,
that's
sucks.
not a lounge singer. This is
sucks.
disgusting. I'm so disappointed. Sorry, guys. We can roll.
Well, I mean, that's Fox for you. That's Fox for you. I just heard like over the weekend that they canceled Empire.
No.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah.
It had the highest ratings.
Yeah, I mean, well,
anything.
it's being Lee Daniels is taking the show to a different. Apparently, contractual stuff, contractual bullshit is what caused it. Because they had announced that they were renewing the show a while ago, and then I guess recently contractual talks or whatever broke down, and so now it's now turned into a Fox is not bringing Empire back, and Lee Daniels is taking the show. He's pitching the show to other networks.
What?
Or he's weighing other networks to yeah.
But I mean.
Well, I missed what you guys said because I stepped away for a second. Why Empire's not coming back to Fox?
No, Fox has gotten rid of Empire.
How? It was like a ratings monster for them.
Because they couldn't come to terms with the contractual agreement for Lee Daniels and his team.
Oh, I'm reading about it. Apparently, it's fake news.
Yeah, I can't imagine that would be real. It just seems like a dumb thing to do, especially when it did so well.
The guy who plays the gay son says, "Haha, hell no, come on now. Don't believe faux journalists and pretend blogs, son." We ain't canceled. I don't know who Jamie Hoffman is, but he says we ain't canceled. We'll see you soon.
Yeah,
no, it's like I said, it's not that it's canceled per se, but like that it wasn't going to be on Fox. I don't know.
No, I mean like contractual stuff makes sense, especially with a show that gets this big unexpectedly, you know?
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it is like a huge issue. You know, the problem is with them being on another network is they're going to lose some of the actors, most likely. So, I mean, they're obviously going to try to keep Baby Wipes and Cookie, but who knows who else is going to be able to stay on.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think that even if now, I do find it funny that they're saying, "Oh, it's a hoax now," because you know it was real, and Fox realized what the fuck they were doing, and was like, "Oh, wait, let's make that phone call real quick, and give these guys what the hell they want."
Can you imagine what would happen if they actually get canceled?
I mean, this stuff has happened before, you know.
But not, like, really with the I mean, there are shows that were cult classics that this happened to, but, like this was, like, I mean, everybody watches it, you know?
See, now there's an article that was written 11 hours ago that says 4 unique ways Fox is planning to grow its already huge Empire audience in Season 2.
Right. Yeah, as I'm saying, as early as late as yesterday, I read online about the cancellation. Because I remember I told you, Joe, I was on IGN looking up, you know, the renewed series and stuff like that, and I saw there where it said that they were in talks about canceling Empire, and that's when I went and searched online and saw a bunch of stuff, and you know, everyone was reporting on it, so I was like, okay, well, maybe this is something that's really got some legs, and now of course today it's a hoax, and Fox is planning on doing a whole bunch of things with it.
We'll see.
Maybe it's just a matter of trying to keep us talking about it.
Exactly
keep us
that
interested in
too.
it, right? You know. Well, at least we're not recording this piece. Well, we're not releasing this part.
No, I'll have to edit it out. Let's see. All right, you ready to talk some Mad Max?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I'll intro you, and you talk about some Mad Max. And Johanna, you have any questions pertaining to Mad Max that are like spoiler free?
How awesome is it? Is it as cool as it looks? Please tell me more about how awesome this is going to be when I see it.
All right, so your questions range around awesomeness, the awesomeness factor.
on like a scale of awesome to awesome, how awesome is this movie?
Yes. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. So let's do it.
I mean, dude, Rotten Tomatoes is giving us. Rotten Tomatoes has it at a 97.
Wow. All right. All right. Do we want to call this segment anything? Agents of Helm at the movies? No.
Yeah. There'll be another AOH at the movies.
Okay. All right. Well, welcome to another episode of Agents of Helm at the movies. This past weekend, Malik got an early screening to. Okay. All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
Yarr.
Yepers. Okay. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Agents of Helm at the movies. This past weekend, Malik. I have to cut this. Sorry. Malik was. This past weekend, Malik was able to go to a pre-screening of Tom Hardy's new movie, Mad Max Fury Road. So today we're going to talk with Malik. He's going to give us some insight to the film and let us know, is it a yay or nay? Should we go see it? Should we not? Should we skip it? Without further ado, let's go over to Malik. So, Malik, you got to see this movie this weekend, Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you enjoy it? Was it good?
This movie,
tell us about it.
So I'll tell you guys just a little overview. This movie was something that was one that I did not purposely made sure not to watch any of the trailers for it. I didn't want to get a whole bunch of information about the film. I didn't want to get much storyline, and it was partly was because I just really wasn't that interested in the Mad Max feature. I mean, look, I've watched Mad Max. I saw Thunderdome. I saw The Road Warrior. I've seen them all, and I like them. But I just wasn't sure. I guess with all of the superhero movies that were coming out this year, and Star Wars and everything, like Mad Max just had kind of taken a back burner to me. Well, back burner no more. I saw this screening at the Alamo Drafthouse in Yonkers, New York, and it was actually part of a Alamo screening feature where they basically previewed it in all of their locations, and they did a live stream with the with the director George Miller after the showing, where they did a live Q&A to talk to George Miller and some of the other people that contributed to the film. This movie by far has exceeded both Fast 7 in craziness and, in my opinion, Avengers Age of Ultron in just overall fun and oh shit factors. I mean,
that's a big statement.
It's like hands down, this is a yay all the way. You need to go and see this movie. Go out and have a damn good time and enjoy it. I mean, so just to give you a quick overview, a quick premise, it's basically, I think it's like somewhere around like 2060, somewhere along those lines. And of course, as in normal Mad Max fashion, there's just been a whole bunch of like worldwide, destruction, so that basically the world and the entire world is, just a wasteland. And Max, who Tom Hardy is our Mad Max Rakatansky, so he's the same name, same character as the previous films. He is just kind of trying to figure out what his next move is in this crazy world, and he gets uh, he gets kidnapped or he gets captured, and he wakes up in a place called the Wasteland, where he's basically, you know, being used in different ways, and in a different way than you would normally see a human being being enslaved, and he's able to, you know, get out of that situation, and the chase begins. So basically, the movie starts where there's an opening sequence where you see Max. There's kind of a little bit of a dialogue with him, and it's a monologue. Sorry, it's a monologue of him talking about, you know, his experiences and stuff like that. And then he gets kidnapped. Um, Crazy shit happens in the very first 10 minutes of the film, and then we get the opening credits, and then the movie kicks off. And once the movie kicks off, I kid you not, it does not let you let go. It keeps you going all the way through from beginning to end. It doesn't let up. So unlike Avengers, there's no Hawkeye moment. Okay, there's no sitting down and trying to figure out anything. There's no, I mean, even though it was warranted in the film, there is no Paul Walker see you later goodbye moment where everybody's crying and people are, you know, and we're singing songs. Like, this movie is absolutely what it's built to be. It's crazy as fuck. It's absolutely wild. You get maybe a few minutes in between action pieces to, like, catch your breath and just, you know, kind of digest what you just saw and prepare you for what you're going to see. It knows what it is. It hits on all its beats, and I think that that comes directly from, one, bringing back the original director, George Miller. You know, he understands these films, he knows these films, and he's not so connected to the new age of movie making, where he feels like this need to do things with CG. So a lot of it is prop stunt work, real stunt work from real stunt men, doing all of this stuff and doing all this action. So it feels real. It feels very genuine. And although it's not, and I'll say this, although it's not really a overly bloody or gory film, there's definitely moments, cringe moments. There's definitely enough cringe-worthy moments in this movie to even whet the appetites of the most hardcore fans of film. So, bottom line, go see this movie. I definitely give it a 4.5 out of 5, just because I don't like giving out fives, but it's as close to a 5 as you could possibly get. This movie is absolutely phenomenal. I loved it. And if you guys don't like it, something's wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with me. Something's wrong with you. Because everybody else loves it. It's got a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes. I just want to say that. So far, it's got a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes. That doesn't happen very often, especially not with movies like this.
All right, so this movie takes place after Thunderdome, or do they give you that kind of idea?
They don't really give you an idea. I mean, so the thing about it is it kind of just drops you. It literally, the movie just drops you into the situation. It's not really giving you any kind of backstory or exposition. It doesn't really tie you into what, you know, whether or not it's got any connection or any real link to the past films. I mean, it does give you a little bit of insight on, you know, what plagues the Max character, and things of his, you know, memories of his past, but it doesn't really say, hey, there's at no point in this film are you sitting there saying, hey, I remember this person from that, and this person was in that film, and we're connecting the dots, you know. I think this very, in its own way, it very much feels like its own film. And although, you know, a lot of people have attributed it to being a reboot of sorts, it doesn't feel like it. It feels like its own thing. So you can watch Mad Max, or you can watch Return to Thunderdome, or you can watch The Road Warrior and watch this and not feel like you're watching a continuation of a story.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you if it felt like a reboot, but you said it doesn't have that feeling. There's no, it's not an origin story. It takes
No.
off right where it just starts
it literally just starts. It doesn't like take off where it left off. It does like there's no previously on Mad Max. Like it's none of that's going on. It's just
30 years ago on Mad Max.
right. It's like none of that's happening. None of that's happening. This is its own, you know, I guess self-contained story. And then the only real thing that connects everything really to me is Max. Is that we have Max. But otherwise everybody else. And I could be wrong about this. It's been a while since I've seen some of the other Mad Max films, but everybody else seems to be relatively brand new characters and relatively brand new features.
Okay, so how do you compare Tom Hardy's portrayal of Mad Max as opposed to Mel Gibson? I know you said you haven't seen the films in a while, but from what you remember, is it different? Is it more over the top, Tom Hardy's, or is it more low key? What's the general feeling there when you compare the two?
This Max is a much more low key character. I can honestly say that I don't recall him having a ton of real lines in the film. The film is not really heavy on dialogue. I mean, there's plenty of dialogue. There's way more than enough dialogue to move the story along. But there's not a lot of moments in the film where you're sitting there, hearing two people talk about their role in the world, or what they've done, or where they've been, or things of that sort. It's kind of all done in the within the course of the action. And that said, so Tom to me doesn't really get an opportunity to show a lot of who Max is outside of what he's doing. I think what he does and what his character does throughout the course of the film defines who he is. So it's not him telling you, it's him showing you through his action and through the things that he does. My brother-in-law, who I went with to see this film, he was the one that got the passes. And Rick, I hope you're listening. He actually mentions to me really early on, I guess because he watches a lot of these, that the Max character from the 80s films was very self-serving. That even though he did things, and even though he was kind of basically an anti-hero, he does things pretty much to further his own causes. Well, this Tom Hardy's portrayal of Max, definitely has a very similar dynamic to him. But there's also a part of him that realizes that he's necessary, that he's needed for something, to kind of get to help these people that he's with in some way, shape, or form, in whatever way he possibly can. And it may be a little bit, and it may be or it may be a lot, but in some way, shape, or form, he's going to help. And it's not because he wants to further his own plans, because there's some opportunities in the film where he has the chance to just kind of walk away and just kind of leave them high and dry, and he chooses not to. So, if anything, yeah, there's that's kind of where I would say the characters kind of separate, if I'm correct about Mel Gibson's portrayal.
Okay, and one more thing is, like, it seemed like gasoline was always part of the central theme, and especially the Road Warrior, Road Warrior and Beyond Thunderdome, mm-hmm. is gasoline another sought after commodity in this film? Is it centered around gas, or, I mean, without giving away too much?
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much centered around the need for gas. The search for gas is kind of what prompts the initial story to begin with. So not giving anything away, the initial purpose of the trip, so to speak, of the characters leaving Wasteland, or whatever it's called. The initial purpose of it is to go get gas. Is to get gasoline, right? So they're on their way to go do something, and it turns into something completely different. So there is that theme of gasoline and natural resources, and and making sure that all of this stuff is absolutely vital, is absolutely needed. But it doesn't feed into that. Like I said, the film is literally a 2-hour chase chase movie. It starts with the chase, it ends with the chase, and there's chasing all up in between. There's not a lot of character development. It doesn't use its dialogue to build character. It uses its action and its pieces and its and the reaction of the characters to build those character sequences. So a lot of there's not a lot of plot here, and I think that in this film it's a good thing because I don't think you need to weigh it down with plot.
Yeah,
What you weigh it down with is the action, and you weigh it down with the reaction of the characters.
yeah. You don't need a plot in a Mad Max movie. You just need
Right.
some. You just need some action and some
Yeah,
fun.
yeah.
How was Charlize Theron?
I
Besides hot.
Besides
How-
hot, I mean, besides hot, and I usually don't go for the short-haired chicks, outside of I'm usually not crazy about them, but Charlize, she pulls it off really well. Um, but yeah, I mean, her character is equal. She is equal parts tough as nails and equal parts, sympathetic and and like heart of gold, type of character. So she's got pieces of it on both sides, but she's never both at the same time. When she's one, she is absolutely great at it, and then when she's the other, she's absolutely great at that too. They don't give out Oscars for stuff like this, but to me, if they did, this would be on the list. This movie would be on the list, and to me, she could definitely be in my opinion, in our Oscars, she would definitely be a best supporting actress or something like that. She would definitely get that nod because you really believe she is who the character is supposed to be, and you believe every bit of the conviction of her character. So she knocked it out the park. She's absolutely great, and I could not imagine anybody else in that role. Like I to the point, Joe. On our way home, I'm talking to my brother-in-law, and he didn't even disagree with me. I compared her a little bit to Linda Hamilton, T2. Like I compared her. You could favorably compare her to.
Was she
Linda
cut like
Hamilton.
that? Was her
Oh,
body cut
no,
like that, or
no,
just
no,
like her
no.
tough as nails attitude
Just that
like
tough,
Linda
just
Hamilton?
just that tough attitude, that tough as nails attitude, that approach to to getting things done, um, that she could throw down with any one of the fellas,
Okay.
not a problem. You know. Yeah, but she definitely, in my opinion, she took over that role.
Okay. Now, I saw the trailer. I know you stayed away. I can't stay away from trailers. I saw the trailer, and it looks like the costumes just kind of like pop off the screen. They look very colorful. Where like I believe in like the original, I mean they had their costumes, but it
Hmm.
was more, I guess, dreary. They didn't pop. These look a lot more colorful,
Hmm.
and just like seem like the whole movie seems like pop off the screen, um, like with the different colors and the imagery.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a movie that plays with its lights and darks very well, and it plays with its color schemes. You know, putting the really, I mean, if you see it in the trailer, like putting these really pale characters against like a dark backdrop to kind of illuminate their paleness. Um, it does kind of do a lot of that. It doesn't use like a lot of the crazy clothing and spikes and stuff like that. Like I mean, a lot of the vehicles. A lot of the vehicles, and that's typical of a Mad Max film. I mean, you've seen all the Mad Max films before. The vehicles are all crazily
Yes.
tricked out and weaponized and stuff like that. Like that's still all, at its core, it's still very much
Yeah.
a Mad Max film, and it's very much a Mad Max feature. So a lot of those things are still very prevalent in the film. I think that for to your point, I think that it was definitely a much brighter film, and that's why I would suggest for anybody going to see it. George Miller did not shoot this movie in 3D, so if you get a chance to go, if you're going to see it, I mean, it's not taking any money out of these guys' pockets. Go catch it in 2D, catch it in the form that it's been intended to see. Because I feel like I haven't seen it in 3D, but I feel like watching it in 3D would probably mute some of the colors a little bit and darken the images a little bit on the screen. So if you want to see it in its full glory, see it in 2D, you're definitely not going to miss anything by not seeing in 3D.
All right. Johanna, you've been pretty quiet.
Well, you've been asking all the questions, Joe. It's been like a non-stop. Like, I have two questions. The first one I think was kind of answered, but not really because Joe's seen both movies. Would you suggest me carving out some time where I'm not watching The Last Dragon?
Don't even ask. Don't even suggest it, Malik. She's gonna watch Mad Max and she's gonna watch the Mad Max trilogy in parts. It'll take her 2 years to watch it.
So I know that I probably don't need to, but is it a good idea to?
I think the only thing that I would say is to my earlier point, like it drops you into a world that you're probably not familiar with. Like you're not going to be familiar with seeing things like this, and maybe not particularly you because you like a lot of post-apocalyptic stuff. So maybe you would be ready to kind of see this type of imagery. But for someone that's not prepared for that, it may be something where you watch. I mean, you don't have to have necessarily seen the Mad Max features, but you could probably watch something like Escape from L.A. You could watch something like, what was the movie we were talking about earlier, Joe, with Rona Mitra and Doomsday. You know, it's got that heavy metal feel to it with a shitload of rock music and stuff like that. So if you're not accustomed to seeing stuff like that, you know, maybe watching one of those types of post-apocalyptic films will prepare you a little bit for what you're going to see. But you don't have to have seen it. There's no context of those other films that you have to come into this film having known to enjoy it, in order to enjoy it.
Okay, and my second question is, was the cover of Tina Turner's We Don't Need Another Hero involved at all?
No.
Because
no.
that may change my mind about watching this film.
No, it was not. I can't say that the soundtrack. The soundtrack's great. I mean, the music is great. But I can't say that the soundtrack had any parts of it that connected you back to the older films. There's definitely no Tina Turner in the movie. Yeah, she's not there. She doesn't show up cameo or anything like that. But it's still like the music is fitting. It's fitting to the time and to what's going on screen. So,
is there a Mel Gibson cameo?
I wish. No, unless there's an after credit scene or something like that I was not staying there for. Like I said, it's a screener, so we didn't get any trailers prior to. And once the film was over, it did its, you saw the credits roll, and then it jumped right to the QA session. So, and we didn't stay for the entire QA session. We left. It was a pretty late screener. So, but yeah, from what I gathered, there was no Mel Gibson sighting. There was no Mel Gibson feature. He wasn't a part of this at all, which, could very well, could to me, might actually be a good thing because, if Tom Hardy is Max, then who the fuck is Mel Gibson gonna be? like
Max Double.
Yeah, it's kind of like Could
be his dad.
I don't want Mad Max's father in the film.
He's sure it's not called Mad Max Jr. and Fury Road. Or is it just? I think the JR is small, so we can't see it on the poster. So Johanna, you have any other questions?
No, I don't think so. I think Joe asked all the questions for me.
Yeah.
I think you did have one question, Emily. I'll ask it for her. How, on the awesome scale, how awesome is this movie?
Oh man, on the awesome scale, if we can rate 1 to 10.
1 to 10 on the awesome 1 to 10 scale.
Awesome 1 to 10 scale. This film, in my opinion, in my belief, is about an 8.9.
8.9 on the awesome scale.
We're really touching that area where this is multiple viewing capabilities, multiple watching capabilities for me, and I know that doesn't necessarily carry much weight for you, Joe, since I watched since I tend to like to watch movies multiple times anyway.
There's
But
nothing
this
wrong with
is
watching movies multiple times. It's paying multiple times to see them. That's the huge difference.
yeah. Well,
Uh,
I didn't pay to see it the first time, so
yeah, so
I'll
that
definitely pay to
works
see it the
out.
second time. I'm going. I completely plan on going to see this again, um, in the theaters this weekend. I'm going to try to enjoy it as much as I possibly can because I just had a lot of fun. You have a lot of fun. If you, to me, if even if you don't think that it's a great movie because you're looking for something, maybe a little bit more, a little bit more depth, or just a little bit more immersive into the world, or something along those lines. At the absolute least, you're going to have fun watching this movie. You're going to sit back, enjoy, get your popcorn, get your soda. Don't get up for the bathroom because you're going to miss something really, really cool. Um, just sit back, enjoy it, and pee when the movie's over. Damn it, do not miss any parts of this movie because you will regret having missed, a cool scene, that you can't get back unless you pay for the ticket again or wait for the Blu-ray. So,
Can't get those 5 minutes
And,
back.
and I just want to say for our younger listeners out there who've never seen a Mad Max movie, I would have to say, if I was to describe it, I would say it is The Hunger Games meets Fast and the Furious, right?
yeah,
I think
yeah.
Hunger Games meets Fast and the Furious. So if you like the Hunger Games and you like Fast and Furious, and you want to see them blended together, that's Mad
And
Max.
and blown the fuck up.
And blown the fuck up. Yes.
Yes, that is Mad
That's
Max. Absolutely.
that is Mad Max. So Malik, one last question, and then we're
Yeah.
out of here.
Yep.
I walk into the theater. I want to buy my movie ticket. I got a choice: Mad Max, Avengers 2, Age of Ultron. Which one are we seeing?
Man, I would say it depends on the person, but having seen both movies, and having really digested both films, I'm going Mad Max, man. I am. I'm going Mad Max
Oh,
again.
let's go Mad Max.
I really am. I had so much fun in that movie. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it, and even though Age of Ultron, again, great film, it's just there's a lot to take in Agents in the new Avengers film. There's a lot going on. With this one, there ain't much going on, but what's going on is fucking awesome. So, like, you see, yeah, if I got 2 hours to enjoy something, yeah, I'm gonna go watch Mad Max.
All right, you heard it here first.
Zoe Kravitz is gorgeous, and this so many she's got so many nice little scenes. I love her. Love Zoe Kravitz. Love you, girl.
Well, I'm happy because I really love her too. I'm glad that she's a bigger part than I thought. I thought she would be there for like 30 seconds.
And
No,
she's in Divergent also, right?
Yes.
The girl's all over the place.
She's
Yeah,
in that new movie, Dope. You know the one with the trailer where I couldn't remember what the movie was or what it was about?
Oh, that's the movie.
Turned out to be
That's
dope,
it.
yeah.
Turned out to be dope.
Cool.
All right, so you heard it here first. Malik says he's Mad Max over Avengers 2 because it's a piece of crap. Avengers 2 sucks, so don't see it. You heard it straight from Malik.
Oh, man.
Just joking. He loved it, but he loves Mad Max more. So go see Mad Max this weekend. And that's it for us, guys. Any last words?
Yeah, next will be on the list. I'm gonna go try and see, along with seeing Mad Max, I'm gonna try and go see Pitch Perfect 2 this weekend too.
All right, the pitches are back.
Yeah. Yeah, so if I get a chance to see that, we'll do a post review of that as well.
All right, awesome. All right, so for Johanna, Malik, I'm Joe. Have a good night. See you soon.
Peace out.
Bye.